Welcome to the 2017-2018 NBA season. There are three main areas we will cover in this year's Points of Education video: contact and continuation, closeouts, and game flow. Let's start with contact and continuation. Last year we noticed an uptick in shooting fouls when coming over the screen. This summer the league office and the competition committee, using enhanced video and slow motion, noticed that many of these plays should not be shooting fouls. Through referee education and a tweak to the mechanics, looking at the sequence as to when the foul occurs in relation to the shooting motion should help in this area. As we can see here from the NBA rulebook, there is a clear difference as to when the shooting motion starts for jump shots and drives to the basket. On jump shots, the shooting motion begins when the offensive player starts to bring the ball upward towards the basket. In contrast, on drives, the shooting motion begins when the offensive player gathers the ball. In other words, ends his dribble while in control of the ball. Knowing that, look at this first play in San Antonio where Joe is guarding Kawhi as he goes over the screen set by LaMarcus. The sequencing of the play is very important. First, there is no illegal contact prior to the screen. Second, the screen is legal. The first illegal contact is here, when Joe extends his arm into Kawhi's midsection as he goes over the screen. Since this contact is prior to Kawhi starting his upward motion to shoot, this is a non-shooting foul. Let's look at the sequencing of this play as Lou brings the ball up the left side of the court. Greg picks up Lou below the foul line extended and makes illegal contact with an extended arm to Lou's midsection. Since this illegal contact is before Lou starts his upward motion to shoot, this is also a non-shooting foul. In contrast to the last two plays, the illegal contact to Steph is later in the sequence here. As you can clearly see from the corner camera, Steph has started his upward shooting motion prior to Rodney contacting him. Therefore, this is a shooting foul, and Steph will receive 3 free throw attempts. Now, let's look at some drives, and as we just mentioned, the start of the shooting motion is different and starts on the gather. As Gerald drives to the basket, he is fouled by Cristiano and continues on to make the basket. The replays show that the foul occurred prior to the gather, and since that happened first, the basket cannot be scored. This is a non-shooting foul. The drive on this play starts in the post. Keep your eye on the Gasol brothers as Mark curls to the basket. The sequencing of when the foul occurs compared to when Mark gathered the ball will determine if this is a shooting foul or not. As you can see here, Mark has not gathered the ball when Powell initiates the illegal contact. This is a non-shooting foul. On the last play in this section, Dennis is fouled by Markieff on his scoop shot. What makes this drive different is Dennis gathers the ball with one hand when he puts his hand completely under the ball while maintaining control. Since the illegal contact by Markieff was after the gather, this is a shooting foul. Score the basket, and Dennis receives 1 free throw attempt to complete the three-point play. Player safety is always the league's #1 concern. Another area we looked at this summer is defensive closeouts to jump shooters. And what we determined is sometimes that illegal contact met the criteria to be a flagrant foul. Let's look at that criteria and then some plays. Here are the general criteria officials use to see if a foul should be upgraded. For closeouts, the officials will mainly focus on a defender's leg extension or late foot movement, whether the defender was reckless in his closeout, and whether the offensive player was injured or could have been injured. The first two plays will remain shooting fouls as the contact does not meet the criteria to be upgraded to a flagrant foul. While Anthony jumps forward, his movement is not reckless and there is low potential for injury to Jamal. This body contact by Anthony is a shooting foul as it does not meet the criteria to be upgraded to a flagrant foul. Similar to the first play, Evan enters Kevin's landing area and contacts his foot while he is still in his shooting motion. Once again, this is not a reckless move, and there is low potential for injury, so this is also a shooting foul. Now, let's look at two plays where the contact meets the criteria to be upgraded to a flagrant foul following replay review. Al jumps forward into Markeef's landing area, but the difference here is Al has his leg extended. It is directly under Markeef's landing area, and Markeef injures himself when he lands on Al's foot. Therefore, this contact meets the criteria of unnecessary and is a flagrant foul 1. Another flagrant foul 1 can be seen here as Jeremy jumps forward in a reckless manner and contacts Paul while he is returning to the floor. This action has a high potential for injury as the airborne Paul is in a vulnerable position when his legs are contacted. Once again, this reckless action and dangerous contact to an airborne shooter makes this a flagrant foul 1. Continuing with our theme of player safety, let's look at some other examples of flagrant fouls. Follow Russell as he drives to the basket. When Allen rotates over and jumps to defend Russell's shot, he winds up and makes significant contact to Russell's face. This contact is unnecessary and a flagrant foul 1. As Austin drives to the basket on this next play, Ty swings down in a non-basketball manner and contacts Austin to the back of the head and neck. This is another example of a flagrant foul 1 for unnecessary contact. Here is another type of unnecessary contact. As Rudy goes up to shoot, Markeef grabs Rudy's shirt, pulls him forward, and then pushes him down. This is a non-basketball play with potential for injury and is a flagrant foul 1. The following two plays are examples of unnecessary and excessive contact. As Gerald starts his drive, he unnaturally throws his left elbow and makes contact to the head and neck area of Paul. This is a reckless non-basketball play with severe impact and very high potential for injury. This is a flagrant 2 and Gerald will be ejected from the game. Once again, we see a very dangerous non-basketball play. Tarian pulls Hassan's shoulders down from behind as he tries to jump. This reckless contact led to an injury and altercation, thus meeting the criteria for a flagrant foul 2 as it was unnecessary and excessive. Tarian is also ejected from the game following replay review. While screening is a simple concept, it is actually a very complex play. Let's go to the video and take a look at some of the things a screener is allowed to do and not allowed to do. Keep your eye on Mark as he sets a screen for Troy. Mark gets directly into Brandon's path and gives him an opportunity to avoid contact. Even though there is some contact, Mark absorbed it and did not deliver a blow. The fact that Mark's leg is slightly wide is irrelevant as Brandon contacts his body, not just the leg area. Therefore, since Mark did nothing illegal, this is a legal screen. Now, let's take a look at some illegal screens, starting with Brooke on this play. As Chandler goes over the screen, Brooke moves to his left and continues that movement throughout the screen. Additionally, Brooke extends his arms, rerouting Chandler even farther off his path. This is an offensive foul for an illegal screen. Watch Noah's movement as he sets a screen for Damian. First, Noah's leg is set outside his shoulders and Isaiah only contacts that extended leg. Second, as Noah attempts to firm up, he is slightly late and hip checks Isaiah. This is another example of an illegal screen for two different reasons. Focus on Andre as he sets a screen for Ish. Corey elects to go under the screen, and as he does, Andre rolls into him and makes contact with his backside. Since Andre did not give Corey an opportunity to avoid contact, this is an illegal screen. Keep your eye on Serge as he sets an off-ball screen to free up Patrick. Serge steps to his right and starts with a very wide stance. As Taj attempts to go around the screen, Serge shifts his body and delivers a blow with his shoulder and forearm. Offensive foul is the correct call on this illegal screen. The last play in this section is a little more complex. Powell makes illegal contact on Tomas, which frees up Patty. However, when you look at the sequencing of the play, Jan commits the first illegal contact when he pushes Powell, which causes the second illegal contact. Therefore, this is a defensive foul on Jan for the push, as the official clearly signals. Improving game flow has been a top priority of the NBA the last couple of years, especially the end of the game. We have implemented a few rule changes, mainly to the timeout structure. This season, there will only be 2 mandatory timeouts in all 4 periods. Teams will also be limited to 2 timeouts following the second mandatory or the 3-minute mark of the 4th period, whichever is later. In addition to the timeout changes, during multiple free throw attempts, if the shooter ventures fully beyond the 3-point line, it will be a delay of game. Let's take a quick look at an example. Watch Russell's positioning between his first and second free throw. As I just mentioned, this season, a delay of game will be assessed when a free throw shooter ventures fully beyond the 3-point line, as Russell does here. These, along with some other minor changes, should help the overall flow of the game. We hope this video has been educational. On behalf of Adam and the entire league, we wish you all a successful season. Thank you.